some of my earlier successes were poetry, and one of the very first ones was a publication that was called the Minnetonka Review, and it is one that was published up in Minnesota. I think it's no longer in publication now. Literary journals come and go, so it's fortunate that I was able to get in there, and I wrote a poem that they accepted called On the Boulevard, which turned out later to be the name of a poetry chapbook that Finishing Line Press over in Georgetown, Kentucky published a few years ago. And I'll just real quickly read On the Boulevard for us. This poem reflects my mindset. It talks about who I'm reading, how they impacted me, and it's a little inside view of my life at the time I wrote this. It is 3 a.m. and I am reading Bukowski, writing about Spain and bulls and Hemingway, and outside on the boulevard it is raining. Like pouring piss out of a boot, and I pour myself another cup of coffee and remember you. The shards of your memory slice me like rusty razor blades, and I bleed. And outside on the boulevard, it is raining, like pouring piss out of a boot. From On the Boulevard, blame. Blame your father and your mother, and good old Uncle Fred, who never was quite right after NAM. Blame it on the Republicans and the Muslims and God. Blame the devil and global warming and too much television. None of it will matter, because in the end you only have to look in the mirror and forget all that wasted finger pointing. Pain. Pain is preferable to that horrible gray sludge of medication that clogs your brain. If the pain gets too bad, I'll just crawl off into the desert, build myself a red rock cairn beneath an aging saguaro, and let the sun bake me and the wind dry my flesh and the vultures clean me to the ivory bones. This one I wrote for my wife, Jenna. A warm southern wind. Like a warm southern wind, you flow over me, caressing my cheeks, brushing like butterfly wings across my parted lips, licking at my half-closed eyelids, nibbling at my naked ears, wrapping like a silken blanket around my tired old body, making me whole, vibrant, fulfilled, alive. And I am forever grateful for your shadows dancing on the walls of my mind and your memories rambling like roses across my heart. Vultures, in those cool, sad, sweet hours of indigo silences that come just before dawn, I lie as still as my own corpse, remembering with a torturous exactitude the days that fell like broken dreams across the dark, ghostly skies, while long absent memories arise like vultures in the hungry night, calling my name and whispering lamentations and final benedictions. Man in the moon. Guess you could call me a moon man. Nothing wrong with the sun except it's too bright, illuminating all my faults. No, the moon is much more benevolent, casting a pale beam to guide me away from harm, lighting the naked woods of my late autumn, kissing my face with lacy shadows, leading me down a cursive path. Whether or not I like it remains to be seen. My mother bears her breast in church. Last Sunday, as sunlight filtered through the stained glass and fell in tangerine and indigo and amber mosaics on the path-worn sanctuary carpet, my mother bared her breast to her Sunday school class in the upper room, not to honor God nor to shame him, but only to reveal the surgeon's scar. Some call it body art, others sacrificial offerings to an imperfect God. The reflection of God. The light was so clear that you could put your hand through it, as though it was liquid glass, and see, if you cocked your head just so, the reflection of God smiling at your innocence.